Hello everybody, welcome back to another video on the channel. Today's going to be a little bit of a different video. I want to go ahead and talk about the way that I've been building Pokemon recently in the past couple of months due to me kind of slowly getting back into the battle frontier. If you're unfamiliar, Papa Hefe created a video on Ace in Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green, and I have been very interested in it because I think it's an awesome way for people to get Pokemon that they want to test out and try in the battle frontier with very little time needed to create the Pokemon. So today I'm going to be talking about Sneasel. I recently saw someone use a Sneasel with the Glalie team that I have been trying out, or the Glalie Pokemon rather, that I have been trying out. The channel that I was watching, his name is Beaveries. He has been doing a bunch of videos on Gen 3, testing out all different types of teams with really creative Pokemon, and it's really fun to watch him try all these teams. So he was trying out Sneasel and was kind of having a little bit of bad luck with it. The Sneasel he was using was running Rain Dance to be able to support his Starmie, as well as Glalie running Rain Dance to support Starmie as well. I think though that he had a really sound idea when it came to using Sneasel, because at the time of Sneasel in Generation 3, it was a fully evolved Pokemon, so its stats are actually not too bad. Of course, being a Dark Ice type makes it really awkward to use because, again, you don't get any stab with it, but it does have a wide move pool, and its base attack is not bad at all. So anytime that I'm looking for a Pokemon, I always go to this site. This is Pokemon Showdown. It can have any sort of generation that you want, from Generation 1 up to Generation 9, with all the Pokemon, all the moves available to it, so on and so forth. So anytime that I want to start creating a Pokemon, I'll go ahead and search for any Pokemon I want. So I want a Pokemon with a specific speed tier, so I filtered it right here by speed, and now Pokemon that are fast to slow are ranked right here. So scrolling through, I hit this speed tier of Starmie because I feel like this is a pretty natural speed tier to look at when it comes to focusing on a positive speed nature. Anything above here, you will probably want to focus more on a positive attacking nature rather than a speed nature. A 130 base speed is going to be very difficult for something to outspeed, even if it doesn't have a positive speed nature. So many times if I was looking at Jolteon or Aerodactyl, I may be looking more so towards a adamant nature or a modest nature here. I know maybe that might be a bit controversial, as the 10% power boost may not matter in that sense, but the speed boost also really is not going to matter, except for maybe the Jolteon that is max speed in the frontier. So focusing again on Sneasel, Sneasel's in the 115 speed tier with 95 base attack, and if we look at Starmie, which has been an absolute monster for me throughout the frontier, it has the same base speed and only 5 more special attack, so I feel like it's going to be pretty much around the same power level that I want Sneasel to be, so that's why I stuck with Sneasel. I feel like it's going to fit the role of a physical attacker the way that I want it to, and especially with pairing it with Glalie with spikes and explosion, I feel like this is the perfect Pokemon for that. So moving into the moveset, we have Brick Break, Aerial Ace, Shadow Ball, and Hidden Power Rock. I feel like this is the perfect Pokemon to show why Ace is so important when it comes to building Pokemon for the battle frontier. There are many Pokemon in the frontier that really want to use a specific hidden power, and it can be really difficult to get that through natural breeding. Again, it's not something impossible. Twisted Motive has been streaming very frequently about how he is working towards a hidden power grass Charizard, and I think it's a really fun watch if you want to watch that. As well as Riley has been working on breeding for a Marowak with hidden power bug. So it is plausible to do this. It does not need Ace to do it. You can definitely do this without any sort of glitches or anything like that. However, I feel like if you want to optimize the amount of time and testing that you have for the battle frontier to create the best team possible, this is the best way to do it. I also went with the Keen Eye ability. I feel like it is a much more important ability than Inner Focus. Not being able to flinch is very nice, but because Glalie is going to be the lead, I'm not very concerned about having any sort of fake out user on Sneasel, and I feel like having it in the back reduces the amount of flinch that's going to have. Glalie has inner focus anyways, so I don't see a point of having two Pokemon with the same ability, so I think Keen Eye, allowing its accuracy to not be lowered, is very important. It may seem counterintuitive to have the Keen Eye ability plus Aerial Ace, but I think it's important that Pokemon that are trying to raise their own evasiveness and lower our accuracy are minimized. So Pokemon with Smokescreen, Double Team, Mud Slap, Minimize, all of that is now countered with the fact that we have both Keen Eye and Aerial Ace. Lastly, Choice Band is really important because, again, we are not able to use Stab, so having the 1.5 power is really important for a Pokemon like this. Moving into the stats, it is labeled as Fast Band, which is a ADV OU type of term, and 252 attack, 252 speed, 4 special defense. This 4 can be put really in anything, defense, HP, either one. Special defense probably makes the most sense because you're probably scared of fire types, and then obviously Jolly Nature. It's going to be the best nature for Sneasel in this sense. So with that, let's go ahead and move on to the other websites that you're going to be using when it comes to creating a Pokemon like this. So this is where you will be getting any sort of codes that you need when you're using Ace. If you're still unfamiliar with how to get the Ace glitch in Fire Red or Leaf Green, I'm going to go ahead and leave this link below. It's called Palm Egg Letter Bombs. What it's going to do is going to give you a step-by-step tutorial on how to get the mail glitch inside of either Fire Red or Leaf Green. You don't have to have a completed copy of the game, however it does differ with how you're doing it, so just keep that in mind when you are trying to perform Ace in your game. The way that you do it is different whether the game is completed or not, but you do not need to beat the games you have Ace in either Fire Red or Leaf Green. So moving on, I am using this code. It is Create Egg with Custom Hidden Power, and that is parentheses bootstrapped. So bootstrap just means that is a longer code, so there are a few extra things that you need to do. Again, if you're unfamiliar, there is a little tutorial on Palm Egg Letter Bombs that shows you how to set up bootleg, or bootstrapped rather, in your game. So moving on, how do we know which hidden power that we want to use? Again, it is given to you right here. You go ahead and copy this into your web browser and it'll bring you to this site. So I wanted Hidden Power Rock. This is what I copy into the code right down here. And now when I finish everything else, it will compute it and give me Hidden Power Rock for my Sneasel. For species, right here it says 215. All you do is type whatever Pokemon you want. So I typed in Sneasel, came out, and I want ability 1. The second ability that your Pokemon have are ability 1, it's not ability 2, it's kind of confusing, but the first ability available is ability 0, the second ability available is ability 1, and that's that. Lastly, before we actually hop into the game, the last thing that you need to know is how the mail glitch works when you're trying to choose which nature you want. So again, it's another little copy and paste into your web browser and it'll bring you to this website. Right here is a full list of words that you will use the mail with to go ahead and change the Pokemon's nature. And it has it for ability 0 and ability 1. So because I'm using ability 1, I'm going to be using from this down here. If I was using ability 0, I would use from this list up here. It's really important to not mix that up because if you try to use ability 0 words for ability 1, you're going to mess up your Pokemon big time. It gives an example right here on how it works. And again, Pokemon, they have no EVs, no moves, no legal metadata, so on and so forth. So after you level it up, give it some moves, it will more than likely become a legal Pokemon, especially if it is breedable. Legendary Pokemon, Papa Hefe has a video coming out shortly, so keep an eye out for that. He'll go ahead and show you how to make legendary Pokemon that you hatch be legal Pokemon. So that's something to keep an eye out for. So I think that covers the whole basis of where I'm starting with this Pokemon. I'm going to go ahead and hop into the game now, and we're going to go ahead and build this Pokemon from completely nothing into a fully EV trained Pokemon at level 100, ready to be used in the Battle Frontier. So let's go ahead and jump into the game. Alright, so we are in the game now. We are chilling at the Pokemon Center with the code all written out already. So I took the time to go ahead and write out the code because it does take a little bit of time, especially with these longer codes, to go ahead and put in. But as you can see, I have the bootstrap set up. Bootstrap just kind of means that you need to change some of the box names as well as the backgrounds of each box. So box 1 has to have stars, box 2 has to have the desert, and then my box 14 has this as the ending code. This is the exit code that you use. And as you can see, I keep my ace Pokemon right over here. It's important that if you ever use the ace Pokemon, you always want to use the yellow hand when you're going ahead and grabbing it. So that's really important to remember. But as you can see, I have the whole code done out right here. Here are some other Pokemon that I've done. If you want your Pokemon to be shiny, what you need to do is just change your TID and SID to be probably within, I think it's like 8 numbers of each other. If you just go ahead and put your trainer ID the same as your secret ID, then these Pokemon will be shiny. But I decided to go ahead and just have a regular Pokemon for this. I didn't want to have it shiny because frankly I don't like shiny Sneasel. So how do you perform ace? Well, all you have to do is grab a Pokemon with the yellow hand. So I'm picking up this Pidgey. Go over to the ace Pokemon. Go ahead and swap it. If your game doesn't crash, then that means the code executed correctly. And now, if we go back to what was said earlier on the page where I had all the code, it said that there should be an egg in box 10, slot number 2 or 3. So if we head over to box 10, then we have Sneasel here. If you're using ability 1 rather than ability 0, then it's going to be the Pokemon like this, level 0 with no name and it's shiny. So that's totally normal. What we do is we bring it over to box 3, slot 1. So this is my box 3 right here, slot 1. And I have to go ahead and go out and use the mail glitch now. So going back, I just have to double check because I believe my words I have to use is feelings and disaster. So when we go ahead and we go to bag, we have retro mail, give, and this is how the mail glitch should be set up in your game. You can go ahead and give Pikachu a Master Ball, Rare Candy, Nugget if you want to clone items, but we're going to go ahead and give him the mail. And you'll see a screen like this. This is how you know that the game is working, because if you have question marks, that is not what you normally see when it comes to giving your Pokemon mail. So when we're going through and setting up the names, it's important that you use this screen rather than this screen, because we need to go through specifically feelings and then finding disaster. And you just fill up all 4 slots with feelings and disaster. Just like this. This is how you want to have your names or whatever set up, whether it's highs or a move or whatever. This is how it's going to be set up. You just press OK, and it says Pikachu is given the retro mail. But if we look, Pikachu is not holding anything. So now when we go back into our PC, when we check the Pokemon, it is now an egg. So go ahead, switch out Pikachu, and this egg is within the last egg cycle to be hatched. So you can go ahead and leave the Pokemon Center, and we just bike for 1 egg cycle and it should hatch. So it should hatch in less than a minute. Okay, so like I said, less than a minute, ready to hatch. And there we go, we have a Sneasel. Again, like I said, if you wanted this to be shiny, its PID is all zeros, so you just have to have your trainer ID within like 1 or 2 digits of each other. I believe my trainer ID in this game is 00166, and for me to get those shinies, I just have my secret ID as 00163, and that's how I was getting the Pokemon to be shiny rather than just regular. I'm not going to go ahead and nickname it right now, but as you can see, it has hatched, it's female, 22 HP, if you go ahead and put these into an IV calculator, you're going to go ahead and see that the IVs are, I believe, between 20 and 31 for all of them. So it does have the hidden powers, but as you can see, it has no moves. So it is, in the sense, an illegal Pokemon. But if we were to go ahead and give it Pound or whatever move that it has at level 5, then it will be considered a legal Pokemon. And again, Keen Eye ability prevents loss of accuracy, so that's really important. So now that we have our Sneasel, I'll go ahead and bring it over to Emerald, and we're going to do the basic EV training that we usually do. If you haven't seen that video before, definitely check it out on the channel. It is what you see in the background of pretty much every single video that I do when I'm talking about training a new Pokemon. So I will see you in Pokemon Emerald in just a moment. Okay, so if you are familiar with my channel, Pokemon Emerald is definitely my favorite game, but I already have an EV training guide on Pokemon Emerald, so I'm going to be going through that process right now with Sneasel. I'm not going to go through the entire thing, but I am going to give you a little bit of tips and tricks when it comes to EV training in this game. So first things first, you do not need to have a lot of money to buy vitamins in this game. If you look here, I have a decent chunk of money, but this would not be able to get me the amount that I need when it comes to getting a max EV trained Sneasel. So when you have, you know, PP max, HP up, proteins, so on and so forth, all you need to do is purchase one of these items, and then you can go ahead and use the duplication glitch in the battle frontier. We're going to be doing that later on when it gets to the moves, but for now I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of the carbos that I need, because I have 4. I already have 50 protein, so I just need to buy 10 more of the carbos, which you can do here in Lily Cove. So this is where you need to go when it comes to buying proteins or any other vitamin. So right up here, your second lady on the left, she has all the vitamins, so let's go ahead and buy 10 carbos. And yeah, that's pretty much it. What we do now is we need to get Pokerus on our Sneasel, and then we need to give it the Matcha Brace. This way, when we're doing our EV training, we are getting the max amount of EVs in the shortest amount of time. The place I like to fly to is Fall Arbor Town, because it is the central hub for me when it comes to doing any sort of EV training. This is where you will find Ditto, which is the main star when it comes to EV training over here. Once we're here, I always go into my PC and grab the Pokemon that I need to train with. So in this case, we are training speed and attack. So go into my box here, and we'll go to box number 1. And this is where I keep all of my EV training Pokemon down here, right on the bottom level. So Groudon gives 3 attack EVs, so we'll go ahead and put him in. And Raichu gives 3 speed EVs, so we'll go ahead and put him in. And the reason that I have these specific Pokemon is all of these Pokemon, Exploud, Groudon, Aggron, Kyogre, Dustox, and Raichu, are all native to Pokemon Emerald. So you don't need to be trading anywhere to get these Pokemon. So in case you only have Emerald, you can get these Pokemon to EV train. Obviously we traded from Fire Red, but if you wanted to, you could also perform Ace in this game. I didn't want to ruin my copy of Pokemon Emerald, so that's why I've never done it before, but my Fire Red I was totally fine with. If I lost it, then I would just replay through Fire Red. So now that we have these Pokemon, let's go ahead and just make sure that one of them has Pokerus. They do not, so I need to get a Pokemon that does have Pokerus. So I know for a fact my Zigzagoon here definitely has Pokerus, so I'll go ahead and add him into the party. And then I would like to add one more Pokemon that has Pokerus, so I'll go ahead and check my Ampharos. It has Pokerus, and I'll go ahead and add him in. Once I get Pokerus on, I'm actually going to switch out the Ampharos with Swampert, because that's what I use to knock out my Raichu. Now Pokerus again is something that is quite rare in this game. It is actually rarer than a shiny Pokemon, but again, if you perform a glitch known as the Palm Egg glitch, there are eggs that are created and generated that will give you Pokerus. Again, I'll go ahead and link a video down on how to do the Palm Egg glitch, and once you do that, you can go ahead and spread the Pokerus to any Pokemon you have in your party, and just keep it in the PC so then it never goes away. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sandwich the Sneasel in between two Pokemon with Pokerus. So I'll put him in between the Zigzagoon and the Ampharos. I'll go ahead, scroll down, and give it the Macho Brace. And now what we're going to do is we're going to run into wild Pokemon until we have it have Pokerus. So we will be right back with that. Okay, so now the Sneasel has Pokerus, it has everything it needs to go ahead and be EV trained now. So I'm going to run back to the PC and get the Swampert, and then I'll go ahead and show the EV training spot. So one last thing we need to do before we head over to the EV training spot is we need to make sure that we give it 10 of each vitamin. So we need to give it 10 proteins, and we need to give it 10 carboses. So let's go ahead and give it 10 of each, and that will give us a 100 boost to each the attack stat and the speed stat. Alright, so at this point, when it comes to the EV training sessions that I do, I usually save here to make sure that at the base level I have it with Pokerus, 100 EVs trained in each stat, and we're in Fall Arbor Town, so a lot of the setup is alleviated, ready to go. So in case I mess up anything, in case I knock out a Pokemon I'm not supposed to, this is a good place to kind of reset, restart, and go from there. So next thing we need to do is we need to go to the training spot. Again, it's in Fall Arbor Town. It's right here in this hut. This is the, I think, Ruin Maniac hut. And if you go all the way to the back, once you beat the game, he has dug all the way back here and opened up this cave. In this cave, you can find Ditto, which is the main way that we EV train very quickly. So I will go ahead and demonstrate it once we find a Ditto and explain how it works. Ditto is a 50% find here. The other 50% is split up between Whismur and Xcloud, or Whismur and Loudred. So it may take a few tries for you to go ahead and find a Ditto, but be assured this is probably the fastest way to EV train any sort of Pokemon. I've shown it a few different times on my channel, like I said. Alright, so here we have Ditto. And it is important for you to have your whatever Pokemon you're training out front. For me, it's Sneasel, so I send out Sneasel. If not using the Macho Brace, you could actually use the experience share, but the Macho Brace cuts this in half, so there's no reason not to. So what I like to do is I also keep a little sticky note or notebook by me to kind of keep track of how many of the Dittos I've run into. So I'm going to go ahead and write on a sticky note Sneasel, and we're going to be training speed first. Okay, so I have my sticky note all written down, ready to go, and that we found one Ditto so far. So because we already have 100 EVs, we're only needing to train 152 more. So because we are getting, I believe we're getting 12 EVs, which each Pokemon we knock out, there is going to be a remainder, so we'll have to go ahead and fight a wild Pokemon a couple of times, but this is the fastest way. So next Pokemon that I'm going to switch into is I am going to switch into my Raichu because I'm training speed first. Ditto is going to transform into my Raichu, and now it has all the properties of Raichu, including the EVs that you get. So now, because my Raichu only knows electric type moves, I'm going to switch into Swampert. And now it is just as simple as knocking out the Raichu. Again, Raichu cannot touch my Swampert because it is a ground type, it only has electric type moves, and we just repeat this until we have fully trained our Sneasel in both speed and attack. So once I finish up EV training the speed, I'll go ahead and show where we get the extra speed EVs, and then I'll show again for the attack. Alright, so I have just finished the Ditto training part. I did both speed and attack at the same time, so now we're gonna go ahead and find Pokemon that give 1 EV to finish it out. So when you do this Ditto method and you're doing 252 the way that I've done it, you're gonna have about 8 EVs left over. So you can either find one Pokemon that gives 2 or a Pokemon that gives 1 and knock out 2 of them. So I'll go ahead and show Sneasel's stats where they're at right now. It's at level 27, so it's Pokerus, and these are the stats where it's looking at. And as you can see, the special attack is horrendous. So that is why we're focusing on physical attacks. So we're gonna go ahead and find speed first, and then we're gonna go ahead and find attack. And lastly, we'll do special defense because special defense is the least important. So we are going to fly to Oldale Town. That is usually where I go, at least for speed, and we can also do it for attack as well. What we're going to go ahead and find for speed is we're going to find Wingles, and we're going to find Zigzagoons. Those are the Pokemon that I choose to knock out when trying to get speed. As for attack, we're going to go ahead and look for Poochyena. Those are the Pokemon that give attack, so looks like we got attack first, so we'll knock out 2 Poochyena, we'll knock out 2 Wingles and or Zigzagoons, and then we'll knock out a Swablu or a Lotad or something to round out the special defense. So again, this is probably the fastest way you can go ahead and train a Pokemon up. Again, this EV train is probably the longest part that it's going to take when it comes to training a Pokemon like this, but again, it is a lot faster than fighting Pokemon that are only giving you 1 EV with no Pokerus, no Macho Brace, and so on and so forth. So just finishing up here, and after we finish this part, we're going to go to Slateport because there's a woman that gives you a ribbon to make sure that your Pokemon is fully EV trained. Now, the woman will only give you that badge if you have hit 510 EVs. Of course, you know, 508 is the amount that a Pokemon is fully EV trained, but you need to reach 510 for it to give you the ribbon. So that's what we'll do. We just need to figure out and fight one more Zigzagoon, and then we'll go to Swablu. So make a quick little cut right here, and then we'll go ahead and, oh, never mind, no cut needed. So while we're knocking out these Pokemon, I do want to just go ahead and say thank you guys so much for all the support that I get on my channel. I know I haven't been posting any videos recently, but I have been streaming, and the streams have been going really well. So I really appreciate everybody that comes out and watches those streams. It does mean a lot to me. I'm going to be trying to stream on Fridays. That is the best day that I think that I can stream for everybody. So if you want to catch a stream, usually I'll be streaming at 4 p.m. Eastern time. So definitely come out and watch some of the streams. We'll be going and doing some training of Pokemon and working on challenging some of the facilities. But recently, the Battle Tower has just been absolutely destroying me. So that is what we've been working on, and hopefully this Glalie team will work out. Obviously, I don't know if Sneasel will work out, but eventually we'll find a good physical attacker, but I want to see if this will work out. So we're going to knock out one more Lotad or Swablu just to get us to 510 EVs, but right now the Sneasel is fully EV trained, but just to get to 510, so then it will give us the ribbon. Go ahead and knock out the Swablu, and now let's go ahead and fly over to Slateport. So if you didn't know, in Slateport there is a woman down here that will give you a ribbon if your Pokemon is fully EV trained. So the first Pokemon in your party, this is the one that you show. It says, oh, your Sneasel went for stupendously. As a reward, please give it this effort ribbon. So we have fully maxed out the EV training, and we are going to go ahead and go back to Fire Red for the last part, and yeah, that will be it for the video. So I will see you guys back in Fire Red. Okay, so we are back here in Fire Red, and I did misspeak. This is the second to last step. This is the last step when it comes to training, but the actual final step will be at the battle frontier, where we're going to go ahead and teach the rest of the moves. So second to last step when it comes to training. But what I did is I'm back here with another ACE code, and this code is going to go ahead and set the Pokemon that is in our 6th slot to level 99. And when it does that, it's not going to change any of the stats, but what it will do is it will, as soon as it levels up to level 99 to level 100, all the stats will automatically update. So as you can see, I have Sneasel right here. These are the stats at level 27, and it does this to the Pokemon in the 6th slot, if I didn't mention that earlier. And then I've also done already an ACE code where I put rare candies in my key items, so I have infinite rare candies. So we'll go ahead and use the glitch. Go ahead, grab the yellow hand, and if I did the code correctly, then when I switch this, it won't crash. Perfect. So executed the code, and now when we go to our party, we should see a level 99 Sneasel. Yep, as you open it up, you'll see that its experience bar is completely glitched out. Its stats are still the same, but when we go ahead and use a rare candy on our Sneasel, it's going to go ahead and go to level 100. It'll have a bunch of question marks when it comes to its stats because it's gaining an insane amount of experience. And you see now it is fully EV trained. If you went ahead and looked at a max speed 252 EV trained, this is the max speed that a Sneasel can have, so 360. So full EV trained, level 100 in less than a second. So finally, we're going to go ahead and send it back over to Emerald to get the moves and use the PP maxes on it, and that will be a Sneasel that is trained from absolutely nothing in less than an hour. So I will see you over in Pokemon Emerald for the final time. Okay, so final step is finishing the moveset for this Sneasel. So we are going to use the cloning glitch. If you're unfamiliar with the cloning glitch, it is here in the battle tower, and I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate it. Again, any video that I will find, I'll go ahead and paste it in here, but again, from my original EV training video, I demonstrated this as well, or talked about this and linked a video there as well. So I'll go ahead and put the items in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put all 3 PP max that I have, as well as all the moves that I need. So I'm going to need Shadow Ball. I already have 2 of this, so I don't need to do this. Brick Break, Hidden Power, and Aerial Ace. So now that they're all holding the items, I'm going to go ahead and save the game. Okay, so game is saved. We're gonna go ahead and now we're gonna take those items out and we're just gonna place them back in our bag. So move items, place all these back in our bag. And we're going to go ahead and talk to the multi-battle woman, which is the woman closest to us right here. So she's going to go ahead and talk about the Link multi-battle rooms. This is something that you can do like the battle tower with a friend if you want to do that. But specifically what we're going to do is we're going to go open level and we're just going to pick 2 legal Pokemon. So we're going to pick our Sneasel and Raichu. And it's going to ask to save the game, and it's going to have this pause. And when it comes to this screen, we are going to reset the game. So you can soft reset, turn off the game, whichever one you prefer. So I'm going to soft reset. And now when we go back in the game, even though we didn't save, we're going to be right back in front of that woman. So that means that you did the glitch correctly. If you spawn right back in front of your PC machine, then you did not do it correctly. So when we go in our bag, it's going to show, all the way at the bottom of course, that we have our 3 PP maxes. And when we go back into our PC, if we did everything correctly, well, if I can also put this to the top correctly, if we did everything correctly, then we will also have 3 PP max as well as all the TMs back in the PC as well. So all the items that we placed back in our bag should have been duplicated back to the Pokemon basically. And there you go. So that is the duplication glitch, and now you will never have to replay a game to get any sort of TMs. Once you have one of the TMs, you have infinite of the TMs. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and teach our moves to our Sneasel. So there you have it, a fully trained Pokemon that is battle ready, perfect IVs, hidden power that I want within an hour of actually thinking about and making it. I think this is a really fun way for you to basically have access to any Pokemon you want. I think it's really nice for people that maybe don't have access to certain games, especially Pokemon like Suicune, Raikou, or Entei. You know, those are Pokemon that are really difficult to get because the ones that are available in Fire Red and Leaf Green, their IVs are glitched, and this will give you a chance to actually have Pokemon with correct IVs. And I think it's really nice to be able to have Pokemon with specific hidden powers that maybe they don't have access to, like Sneasel doesn't have access to any rock type moves, so having hidden power rock is really a boost for it to be able to take out like any sort of flying type, bug types, any sort of Pokemon that maybe just are not great with ghost or fighting or flying or anything that maybe you're struggling with. So again, you know, I think this is a really nice way to have access to any Pokemon, and it's something that I've been playing around with, trying out different Pokemon, seeing how much the IVs actually matter when it comes to battling in the Battle Frontier. So if you found this video helpful, or if you want to try this out, definitely try it out. Check out the links below. If you need a little help with how to actually do the glitches, specifically the male glitch, this is something that I've been testing out with other Pokemon that I want to try out for teams, but maybe don't have the time to breed for all of them. This is definitely a more optimized way of getting Pokemon for the Battle Frontier. And yeah, I hope you guys liked it. Within the next couple of weeks, I hope to have this team of Glalie, Sneasel, and Starmie to at least probably round 5 or 6, and kind of show it off. I'll probably be streaming it as well, like I said, so if you want to check out the streams, and definitely check out some of these other channels that I've been mentioning, Beaveries, Riley, and of course Nighthawk. They all create great Gen 3 content. I know Riley's been going for his 100 win streak in Ruby and Sapphire, so definitely check those out. And yeah, that's it. So thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.